Women Africa Cup of Nations for 2024 happening in 2025. We are in the final group game, and the Super Falcons are getting ready to make history. And there's one more match to go in the FIFA Club World Cup as we're anticipating the final for tomorrow. And of course, the Women Euros also going on exciting results across board. Welcome to Football Bankers, brought to you by iLOTBET. Welcome back from that break. It's still Football Bankers brought to you by iLOTBET. Well, let me introduce something exciting to you. iLOTBET guarantees you lucrative bonuses. Place bets on football, basketball, tennis, and several other sports. You can even bet on casino as well, virtual and lottery games. Anything you want across betting, just go to the website www.ilotbet.com. And believe me, all your betting questions will be answered. I'm not alone in the studio today. It's not a solo show. I'm in the studio with senior men, bosses in the industry. Starting from my far left, Matthew Okugbe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. So much to truly say about today's edition of the show. And there is also so much to win, courtesy iLOTBET. And it feels great to be back in the studio. Thank God this man is also here, Farouk Adetola, the man that is not doing anything to salvage the situation of Manchester United. They are just there. Other people are buying players. You saw the impact of the players Chelsea has bought thus far. He was seeing Chelsea on the show last week, but he's still there. Man United still remaining. Thank God people like us have left.
Well, no need to mention his name again. Farouk Adetola. I gave Matthew a foothold. He made it a strong goal by shooting a shot. I won't mention his name, but someone got the fire there. Farouk, welcome to the show.
Well, my name is Farouk Adetola, the sports mamba. I don't even know how to start again. I was going to ask you to also let the charity begin from home, from iLOTBET. But now that you have thrown me under the
iLOT shot.
iLOT shots now. But interesting times again. You guys have seen it on your screen. Well, it's where to be. It's where to place your bet at this point in time. And it's a lot for you guys to win on the program at all times. My name is Farouk Adetola once again. Feels good to be in between these two great men.
Let's get into the show proper. We'll be starting with the Super Falcons. Matthew mentioned the Super Falcons. We'll be starting from there because Matthew loves women. Matthew loves women's sports, especially women's football. And we'll be starting with the Super Falcons. They'll be playing their final group game tomorrow against Algeria by 8 p.m. Nigerian time. It's been exciting all through. They've instilled confidence so far in the competition, and we love what we've seen so far. I remember the opening game where many criticized that why is Oshoala starting this game? Then boom, 4 minutes on, he scored. Madugu trusts his girls, and it's been positive so far. How do you think, Matthew, this final group game will turn out?
Well, I think it will definitely come out well. The girls have shown the desire to go all the way. I don't want to dwell on their last game, but I feel that this is very, very crucial. They're playing against the Algerian girls. This is another North African side. Remember how they were able to decimate the Tunisian girls in their very first game. So it's going to be like for like. I think the girls will bring their grit to play. You could see the hunger in the team. After watching the Falcons play in their very first game, I could also begin to call the manager some slag why he decided not to go with Monday Gibbs, because there are several players in this team, especially on the offensive, that would give you 99.9% on a good day. So Assistant Oshoala just there to enjoy herself. I hope she'll be able to take her chances because she won't get plenty of playing time when it comes to playing for 90 minutes. 45 minutes if you're on the pitch, get the job done. 20 minutes if you're on the pitch, get the job done. I want to be, at this time, beginning to see beyond the group stages. We've seen what the likes of South Africa, the likes of Morocco, what they bring to the plate, and the likes of Zambia. I hope the girls are also conscious that the critical stage of the tournament, the knockout phases, is already upon us, and they should be able to brace themselves up for what awaits them beyond the game against the Algerian girls.
Well, I think everyone knows that every competition, the knockout phase is always a different ball game from the group phase. And Farouk, do you agree with Matthew on no matter what happened in the previous game, the focus for Falcons should be on this game against Algeria? Yes, you can say is you right, but they need performance, they need security, they need to secure first position to send everyone a message that we are not here to joke with you guys.
I think we have barely used the second gear in this tournament. Perhaps the opponents we find in our group are not as engaging or perhaps demanding as other groups. If I played against teams like Zambia, perhaps even Senegal, I think, or even Ghana will have done much more. As in we're just lethargic. We don't have to start, sweating, running around the field of play. It was an easy game for us, the first 2 games, and I feel that could be a problem for us going into the main draw. Talking about the quarterfinal, the semi-finals, but I still feel that what I've seen from the girls, the combinations, the players all together, still have more quality than any team put together. The other teams, especially Morocco, one thing I liked about them is the way they move the ball around, the connection amongst them. They play like a proper European team, but that is not enough to win you titles here in Africa. You need skill, you need strength, you need physicality, you need that grit as well, and combined with natural flair, which I think 2 or 3 of our players have got. Rashida have shown that all through this tournament. Babajide as well, not forgetting Asisa Shola. Regardless of what she's doing about now, yes, can I expect her to be that Asisa Shola of 6 years ago? Now she's aging, she's playing more with experience, and doesn't want to just get injured. Get injury anyhow. So that's why I think she has been very, very careful. But when you need a performance from her, she's always that lady that will lead the others. But in the end, what we have done now doesn't really matter. It is what we do after now that actually matters. So for me, I just hope the girls can up the ante, put more steel and let us see that natural ability that we have not seen. I'm not saying that winning 3 goals to nothing in the first match is a very good way to start the tournament, but I still feel they can do more because I am always a Oliver Twist and I want more from there.
Well, Masato Shola, I know you watch this show and I know you are going to pay attention. So win all the goodies and come home to celebrate with us, your fans. And Masha, I won't say that.
You're not a fan. You guys,
this one is, I just want a straight yes or no from you guys. Is Chiamaka Nnadozie the greatest goalkeeper in Africa? Let me start with Matthew.
Of all time?
Yeah.
Or no, I think she's
she's getting there.
I think she's getting there. She's almost there. As far as this era is concerned, I would say if you look at the last 2 decades, when it comes to women goalkeepers in Africa, Africa has not really been up there. Mm-hmm. When it comes to producing female goalkeeper, you talk of the likes of France, the likes of England, the likes of Germany at some point. But I think based on the trajectory and the bar she had been able to raise for herself, I think she seems to be there. If there is one goalkeeper that has the quality to win the Women's Player of the Year award, I'm not talking of the Women's Goalkeeper Player of the Year award. You understand? When it comes to the CAF award, I think she takes pole position. Let's just hope she'll be able to keep that consolidation. She's a super, super goalkeeper. And if there's one confidence I seem to have in the Super Falcons, is her ability between the sticks.
Farouk, do you agree?
I think I agree with you, honestly, because when you first asked that question and Masu was answering, I was taking my time to look at the past and also what we have read about now. I think her confidence is what set her apart, and the way she controls the box. She plays as if she's ahead of the game when it comes to what we see here in Africa. She can compete well with the likes of the best in Africa, in the world. That's why she's getting moves from France to England. And I think it's not an understatement to say that she's the greatest of all time in Africa, but I think she's yet to win the AFCON title. So that will also add a lot to her. So I think she needs to have that extra motivation. Also let the girls know that I want this title for myself. Because at the end of the day, if you are going to put all those metrics together, what you have won also will also determine whoever is going to be the greatest of all time.
Well, that means for that reason, Super Falcons, you just have to win. For Asisat, you have to win. For Chiamaka Nnadozie, all the best of the Super Falcons. But today, there are 2 games going on in Group A, where Senegal will take on the host Morocco, then Zambia will take on DR Congo. Just straight answer, Matthew. Who wins Morocco, Senegal?
Top games. If you want to stake on this fixture, I think plenty of goals definitely would get to come, because I've seen the Senegalese, I've seen the Moroccan play two-side with plenty of flair offensively. They don't sit back when it comes to a fixture of this nature. You just want to watch with an open mind, get to enjoy yourself. So if you're a punter, stake for both teams to score. But I think the Moroccans would edge it by virtue of playing at home and having their fans behind them, because the Moroccan team is much more compact, and I think the mobility in the middle of the pack for the Moroccans might just cut it, because I think the Senegalese seems to not show that solidity, especially on the defensive state. So that might just be their undoing in this fixture. But an open game, plenty of goals, both teams to score. an entertaining fixture to really look forward to.
And to Farouk, the other game, one of the teams that have done so well in terms of women's football in recent years, Zambia. They'll be taking on the whipping boys in the group in quote, DR Congo.
The whipping girls. You meant to say. I think it's a straightforward victory for the Zambians. We saw their game against the Moroccan in the first match was ends where they could have won, and also they have one of the best players in Africa in their rank. So I think that they will win that match conveniently and get into the next stage.
Well, you've heard it from the guys. If you're a punter, they've told you where to put your money on. Matthew says Morocco, and Farouk says it's Zambia. In case anything goes wrong, just go on their social media and pull them back. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about Group C. Welcome back from that break. It's still Football Bankers brought to you by iLOTBET. The answer to all your betting questions, virtual games, everything. Just go to the website, iLOTBET.com, and you'll definitely get to enjoy one of the best odds you have in the betting world. It's still Football Bankers, and we are still talking about the Women Africa Cup of Nations. Let's talk about Group C now. The games will go down on Monday. Talk about the defending champions, Matthew, South Africa. They'll be taking on with neighbors here as we talk about them, Mali. South Africa, so far so good for them in these competitions. Are they going to pick up 3 points against Mali?
Yes, the Bayana have shown they can really hit the total from where they stopped the last time. They said they want to defend the title. They are looking up to Nigeria. They said Nigeria has won this tournament too many times, and they are coming to show that dominance. Not to forget that the nucleus of the team remains from the players who won it the last time, and they still have the same gaffer who have shown. We saw them at the World Cup. We saw how enterprising it could be. We saw how easily they were able to take out Ghana in their very first game. Not a surprise to me. We also saw them in their second fixture against a side that is also youthful, a side that would also come to play. I think it's going to be a cagey fixture, but you want to give it to the South African ladies because they seems to have an edge when it comes to the offensive state. They have players who could hold on to the ball. They have players who are more youthful, players who could run, players who could also strike from within the box area, between the area. So I think that is an added advantage for them going into this fixture. So I want to put my money for a win for South Africa in this one.
Well, Farouk, Black Queens of Ghana against Tanzania.
It's going to be very, very close because I also saw the Tanzania. They played enterprising football. They're also very, very good. But they don't have that experience to put the ball at the back of the net regularly like their other opponents. For Ghana, we're going with those days when they are the second best after Nigeria. Cameroon have overtaken them. So also in Zambia, I think Morocco as well as South Africa. But they just have to, they still have that Dansaki, but the realness of them competing at this level is what I don't see. But I still feel it's a match that Ghana needs to win. I think they would win this match at the end of 90 minutes.
Well, for me, I miss the former #1 for Bayana goalkeeper and everything. But let's go on another break, and when we come back, we'll be moving away from the Women African Cup of Nations. Welcome back from that break. It's still Football Bankers brought to you by iLOTBET. iLOTBET is one bookmaker that guarantees you lucrative bonuses. And all questions you have concerning betting on football, basketball, tennis, everything, especially in this period of Grand Slam and all, go to the website iLOTBET.com and all the questions you have concerning betting will be guaranteed. Among all the top elite bookmakers we have, iLOTBET stands tall. Let's talk about the FIFA Club World Cup right now. Well, the final of the FIFA Club World Cup is between Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain, the Champions League winners. And many didn't see this coming. I wish I can put Naira inside that place instead of see this. But, well, let's move on. And I'll start with Matthew. I'm sure from the start of the competition, you probably didn't see Chelsea getting this far. Now they're in the final, and they're taking on the winners of the UEFA Champions League. That means Conference League winner versus Champions League winner.
Absolutely. Two champions meeting at the prime, meeting at the peak of club football. You want to expect an entertaining fixture. No one saw Chelsea to have come this far. And but for several persons, they've definitely put their money for PSG to play in the final by virtue of the consistency they've shown and the form they've owned from playing in the Champions League, winning the French Ligue 1, and all the dexterity they have shown all through the season. So it's going to be an entertaining fixture, but I fear for Chelsea Football Club. They'll be coming up against the best football team anywhere in the world at this time.
And they're wearing blue.
Yes. And no, I don't think they'll be putting on blue. Maybe the other team would be donning the blue colors because that's exactly their own kits as well. But I feel one thing that PSG would have going for them in this fixture is how much they will be able to keep the ball, because PSG has the ability to deprive you of the ball and boom, those passes in between players. I think Chelsea do not have the defensive legs, so hold the likes of what's his name, Ousmane Dembele, and the front three, and the defensive, you understand, and the wingers that also PSG would bring into this fixture. Chelsea will have plenty of problems. And you also need a goalkeeper with the mind, a goalkeeper with that confidence in a fixture of this magnitude. And I don't think Chelsea has any at this time. The man in between the stick does not command the kind of confidence going into this fixture. So it's going to be a shaky game for Chelsea. But if there's one side that will come with plenty of confidence that they can truly nick this one, is PSG. They smell blood. And I will put all my money, my clothes, my shoes, my house, everything I have for PSG to nick this game.
Well, I hope you don't come and sleep in my house if it doesn't turn out well for PSG to win. Talking about movement, you can hardly, the only man in the front six for PSG that I can tell where he plays, Igvat Kylian. Other players move left, right, center. They have nowhere they are moving. And one man that's
very mobile team
as well for Chelsea has to be Moises Caicedo. Farouk, do you think Caicedo alone can do the job? Because obviously Levi Colwill could come back into the starting lineup for this game because they missed the last semi-final game. Does Chelsea have a chance against PSG, or you're also with Matthew, PSG all the way?
With everything Matthew has said, I swear, any Chelsea fan that meets you on the road, they go hold you down, because you didn't even give them 0.0001% to even win this game. And the truth is, you have to be very, very scary of how PSG are playing. That is why a lot of Chelsea fans before the second semi-final, they were praying that Madrid should win. But God did not answer your prayer. It is your biggest nemesis.
You can go past PSG, go past Madrid, Bayern.
Yeah.
You can go past those two. You should beat anybody.
So, but unfortunately, you are meeting the best team in the world right about that, just like Matthew said. One thing about PSG is that if they want to beat you, they can beat you very, very silly. Yeah. And then they will embarrass you. And that is what we neutrals are hoping for. We want to see a lot of goals from left, right, and center. Either way you look at this match, whether it's front or back, left, right, or up or down, there's only going to be one winner. You know, PSG are just too good at this point in time. The right back is at the biggest level in this world. Hakimi, the other guy on the left, Mendes, playing fantastic football. Vitinha, you know, you never know exactly where he's playing. At times you see him in between of the defenders starting to play, and then next you see him on left, right, and center at the front. So it's just a team that is at their prime right now, at their peak. You know, until you find them out, then we know exactly how to beat them. But nobody has been able to do that, to say this is how to beat them exactly, because they're just all in your faces. For Chelsea, I think if there's one man that can help them start their confidence, is that man, Moises Caicedo. He has a lot to do. Can he, you know, be here, be there, and do what Kante did for years for Chelsea? You know, stopping attack, bringing down offense, that might be too much for him. But I just feel that Chelsea, because of the luck that they have had all through the tournament, I will not write them off. But if I'm going to put my money, I won't use my house. Just my money, small part of my money on it. I think PSG are favourites to win this one. And if you look at the odds as well too, the odds says PSG are the favourites. And I hope that the favourite wins this tournament in the end. But Chelsea can go back home and say, yes, we have done ourselves proud. We have something to look forward to, because with the way they are now, they are going to the Premier League and thinking that if we can do this at the Club World Cup, then we can give it a go in the Premier League as well.
Well, from all their analysis and all, the only thing they've said for Chelsea is that you hold their heads up high on I don't try. But who big pass you. And that's exactly what we are seeing for PSG. It's hard for me as well to make a different call from what they said. But let's move on from that conversation and talk about the Chelsea player in the person of João Pedro. FIFA opened a new transfer window in between the competition. Remember, they let some teams sign ahead of the FIFA Club World Cup. Then after the group phase, they still allowed a few days to sign players. And Chelsea brought in a man, João Pedro. And it feels like he had a good start. The first game he played, many Chelsea fans said he had more impact in 20 minutes than some players that have had a competition. Then, like Matthew mentioned earlier, against his boyhood club, the club that made him a superstar, he started that game against Fluminense. Then boom, 2 world-class goals. Matthew, is this a win for Chelsea? Have they finally solved, after spending £600 million in 3 years for a striker, Has Chelsea finally got the solution to that point, man?
Yeah, I won't say completely. I think we need to see him again and again. I'll learn from what Farouk said before we came into the studio when I was kind of asking Lenka about a player got in 2 goals. But Farouk said, guy, calm down. This guy is just playing his very first game. And it might just be a flash of what he could bring to the plate. But how consistent will he be able to put up? Remember, this same guy played for Brighton just last season. And at some point, he was sitting on the bench. And hopefully, we'll be able to show that consistency. But one thing gives me joy is the fact that there is somebody that would be able to wrestle the number 9 position from Jackson. Jackson has not covered himself with plenty of glory, even in this same competition. So you could see the desperation even when he came in that game against Fluminense, and he couldn't also cover himself with glory. So I think the young man has a prospect. He has shown the quality, a player that can hit from any side of the divide. And I think it's just another advantage for Chelsea at this time. Let's see if we'll be consistent enough to take them all the way.
Well, Farouk, do you agree with Matthew on that?
Completely. And I like the way Chelsea go about their business. They'll buy a player now, sign him for 7 years in the same position, like 4 or 5 players in the same position. Yes. If you know they do well, at least somebody here go correct. That's what they do.
That's what you just say about it. They've spent 600 million pounds on forwards alone.
And that has always been the problem of Chelsea. Remember when they signed Shevchenko, they had Crespo, they had Asabank, they had Jimmy Floyd, Flo from Norway. Yeah. You know, was always one of those strikers that would do quite well. Even Anelka was there. He had his moment, but there was only one consistent striker at that point in time, was Didier Drogba. And up until now, they are yet to fully replace him. That's why I said I would never put my money on a striker on Chelsea. If it was a midfielder like Casado, yes, they've been able to replace Kante just like that. But one thing about Chelsea is that they don't really rely on striker to give them the goods. They know that other players around them will always bring them the good. But for João Pedro, take nothing from him. From what I've seen from the 2 games, if he will replicate that all through the season, then Chelsea have found themselves a diamond in the dirt. But unfortunately, it is just the first game. We'll just look at it and see exactly what happened in the Premier League. Club World Cup is different from the Premier League. Premier League, you can go 3-7 games without scoring. Ask Alan. Alan came to the Premier League, took all of us for granted, and now he's coming to the reality that yes, they will always find you. But I think they've gotten a decent player. At least they know that they cannot rely only on Jackson like they used to do in the past. And also Madueke and Jackson are now thinking from the bench as, hey, what has happened to us?
They need the belt.
They need the belt. And they have to also pass in that seatbelt quite well.
Well, the 2 guys are not that they called him so great, but they've given him a chance to prove himself with the Blues. It's either a win or a miss. Whichever way, by the end of this coming season, we'll get to find out which one he is in the end. But 2 great goals for him against his old club, Fluminense. Let's go on another break, and when we come back, we'll be talking transfers. Welcome back from that break. It's still Football Bankers, brought to you by iLOTBET. We've hit home stretch, but let me remind you that iLOTBET is a bookmaker that guarantees you great lucrative bonuses, and you can bet on different sports, including football, tennis. In fact, the Grand Slam final for the women is today, the men is tomorrow. So you can bet on it on iLOTBET, and you can play beyond that as well. You can do casino, virtual sports, and lottery as well. So go to the website www.ilotbet.com, and everything you need about sport betting will be guaranteed on that platform. We've hit home stretch, and it's still Football Bankers, and it's time to talk about 1 or 2 transfers before we leave. I will start with, of course, let me call him my boss, Matthew Okogbe. Victor Osimhen finally agrees to stay back with Galatasaray, and based on conversations, they are ready to play his release clause. Is that a good move for him, or you think he could have done a bit better?
I think Victor Osimhen took football fans for a ride. He already made up his mind to pitch his tent with Galatasaray, but he felt that he should just enjoy the stories keep going on, and have the stories, have people talking about him, and the whole struggle with Al Hilal, which didn't come to a reality at the end of the day. I think stay in a place where you are loved, stay in a place where you are truly appreciated. I think he has seen that in Galatasaray at this time. At some point, there are reports that Napoli also wants him to change his mind and they see if he will be able to play for them. But he said, no, I want to go back to Galatasaray and continue to play. Yeah, 2 seasons, he would play himself to the hearts of the fans once again. And thereafter, he might return to mainstream Europe and maybe any of the club. But how well will he be able to stay in form? That is another question. But hopefully, at some point, we want to see a Victor Osimhen play in the English Premier League, which I think weights his quality. Because a place like England, you can't overlook. He said he wants to play for Chelsea, he wants to play for Man United at some point. Hopefully that dream would come true. But at this time, I thought England would have been the apt place to be. But Galatasaray have gained more fans all over the world since they brought in the Victor Osimhen. Let's see if we'll be able to continue in that consistency and take it up from there.
Well, maybe he wants to win the Champions League, Galatasaray. Anything is possible in football. Another striker who's been in the news for a very long time on top of transfer conversations. It feels like he's finally got his destination. Victor Gyökeres, Arsenal, Sporting and Arsenal, they've agreed a fee of about £56 million plus add-ons for Gyökeres.
From one Victor to another Victor. Both of them are having too many problems. But finally, it's being sorted out. But the only thing I want to say is that Arteta, now you have a striker. Yeah. Honestly, if you don't win the league next season, you don't have any business remaining as Arsenal manager because the numbers are there. The guys have scored astronomical numbers. In Portugal, it was in England before he failed. In the first time of calling. Hopefully, he can add more to Arsenal. But as we know that United fans and also other supporters that like United, we are always against Arsenal. And we wish that. But he was a very good player, to be honest. And I think we had a lot to Arsenal.
All the best to the two Victors, and there are also conversations around the third Victor, the comical one, Victor Boniface, the transfer conversation. Ademola Lookman said he's not coming to England. Elanga is joining Newcastle. Many conversations around the transfer tidbits, but we have to go. Guys, it's been a great show with you guys. Matthew, we have to go.
Thank you for having me. We say all the best to the Falcons. We'll continue the project Mission Else, and we hope that the girls will be able to take it all the way. And for the FIFA Club World Cup, let's say may the best team win at the end of the day.
Farouk?
Well, short and simple. You guys will continue to have a great fun whenever we are on your set, and definitely football is always going to be there. Football is everywhere around the corner, and the leagues are also approaching just after the Club World Cup. Until then, have a wonderful time.
Well, we have to go. It's the time to talk about May. May the Super Falcons win the WAFCON. May the best team in the FIFA Club World Cup win. May the best team in the Grand Slam tennis final win. May the best team in the Women's Euros win. May the best of these guys also win. It's been an exciting show. It's been a jolly ride out. Till we come here another time. Like Farouk will always say, if you're going to punt on any of the games to come, make sure you bet with what you can afford to part with. Till we come again another time. Have a beautiful sporty weekend. Goodbye.